Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank for the presence of our constitutional governor at the state of Nuevo León, Samuel García Sepúlveda, was the Secretary of Economy at the state of Nuevo León, Mr. Ivona Diaz Rodriguez. Welcome and thank you for having us at your home. And I would like to present Mr. Governor to give us the welcome for the second day of our Congress. Take it away, Mr. Governor. Very good morning. Welcome to Monterrey, Nuevo León. It's not that cold all the time, huh? Please don't take your families away forever. But we're very happy to have you to what we call the economic engine of Mexico. And truth be told, the state of Nuevo León is a large state. It's big because of its people, but also because of their industry. And within that industrial component, this is a very important sector for Nuevo León and for Mexico. And that is why I'm very happy to be here to welcome you to your second day of this panel. And most of all, to thank the president of Alacero for having chosen this city for this event in the steel industry, which is the biggest and most important for Latin America. And as the previous speaker said, Latin America is the continent of opportunities nowadays. And I have no doubt that Monterrey, Nuevo León, is a part. It's a key part. It's at the very core of those opportunities. We are in the middle of November. We've been administrating for a year, and I can tell you firmly and adamantly, with raw data, that Nuevo León is better than ever. In economic matters, here we have Mr. Secretary. I always say this quite serious, but at the same time jokingly. He has the easiest secretariat. And truth be told is that the cluster, the Nuevo León's cluster, forged by big entrepreneurs and industrials, we are Mexico's industrial capital. We're formed by the best universities in the country and in the world because we have a highly, I will say, connected environment with the US via the TMEC, which is our trade agreement with North America. We have a work culture in our citizenship and so on, and also entrepreneurship, which is innate to our people. We are the first place in every economic indicator. This year, we are the first place in job creation. Every year, we get more distance to the second place. We have 103,000 employments or jobs, and we are hoping to close with 115. We're breaking the record of last year with 85,000 employments or new jobs. Jobs are at their top level, and we have jobs for everyone. We are also the first place in regards with, I'm going to say, formality. So out of all the states in Mexico, we have more formality, we have more social security, and that allows us to be the first state or the only state that has universal healthcare coverage in all of Mexico. We are the first place in tax returns. That's my biggest argument with them. We are the highest payers. And we're giving more money to the country. We're the first place in direct foreign investment. And this year, we haven't closed, but we have 45% more foreign investment than last year. And just to say it like that as a tip, $1 out of $5 come from Monterrey, Nuevo León, in all of Mexico. Obviously, the nearshoring is the geopolitical factor that the world wants to go into the American market. And having a city like Monterrey, which is one of the richest municipalities, they have a lot of goods and they're outside of the border, like very, very near there, but that creates a boom. And I'm just bragging about my state, but I want to say something in particular. So, the importance of this sector for Nuevo León is paramount. And actually, I want to give you some information. Yesterday, when I was reviewing my speech, I was alarmed, but for good. This metal industry creates more than 1.3 million employments in Latin America, but half of it is Mexico. So the importance of this sector in terms of employment for our country is very, very high. This sector represents 16% of the GDP, the manufacturing sector, to which Nuevo León contributes with half. So for Nuevo León, this is a fundamental sector in employment, services, and GDP. And that is translated at a national level into 672,000 new jobs and an investment of over $14 billion for the country, which is something about 280 billion pesos. Those are the figures for the last 10 years, and they're measured, of course, from 10 to 20. And that needs to have 2021 and 2022. But that shows the greatness and the opportunities we have in this sector. And now I would like to tell you how we intend to make an alliance with government and siderurgical sector or metallurgical sector in Nuevo León. So first of all, I want to say that I'm very thankful with the sector because you were essential and you helped us in a crisis we had with water a few months ago. In the state of Nuevo León, we have overcome that and we restored the water system and launched some projects so that we never have a water crisis for over 25 billion pesos. And this sector has been key because we are making a duct that was planned since 1996, which is called the Cuchillo 2 Aqueduct. It is a 15 billion pesos project. It has 114 kilometers, 1,000 kilometers that will feed the city of Monterrey and guarantee water for the next 12 years. And there we had a fundamental agreement between federal, local, and CAINTRA so that companies, local companies, and companies like Ternium, all of them based in Nuevo León, are making the second duct. And with that, we will guarantee water for the state in the next years. But Nuevo León also launched a press that is the Libertad. It will be the longest water curtain in the world and in Latin America. And with that and other public works, we will guarantee the water supply for the city. And that's why we thank the sector. Now, moving on to another area, and I understand that yesterday you had an event on mobility. I want to also say that the state of Nuevo León, in a very ambitious way in this administration, we want to make, and we actually call it the mobility we always had to have. We have a very ambitious package in terms of mobility with a simple reason. We have the legal and financial capacity we never had in the state. The legal capacity because mobility is an exclusive faculty of the executive power, and we do not depend on anyone or anything to launch this work. And the second one is due to efficiency, with a good financial management. This is actually our first green year, and we have the unprecedented financial capacity. We're betting on 102 billion pesos labeled exclusively and dedicated exclusively to public works. So that is about $5 billion exclusively for public works on mobility. And that includes several projects that go hand in hand with the project, and we invite you to participate. So, first of all, three subway lines. Since we created the subway system in Monterrey, we created three. We are behind, of course. But for the next 6 years, we want to make another three. So we will duplicate and make more subway lines than were built in all of the history of Nuevo León. And we also have, luckily, a project which the Federation Liberator, which is having a load train that will be used as a passenger train as well, that will cross the whole city from west to east. So from Garcia to Pesqueria, and that will bring mobility to 180,000 users a day. So imagine 180,000 less cars implies less traffic, more mobility, because at the end of the day, the vision and the idea, as my friends here said, we need to have a vision for the future. Cars should be an option and not something mandatory, and it will be a hindrance later on. But the option will be public transportation, the right for citizens to connectivity and integration with a mass public transportation. And we will have also, without a doubt, many sustainable projects, amongst which we have 1,500 sustainable buses, most of them electric, and we will renew the public transportation fleet. We will have a multi-mode payment, and if you choose Nuevo León for the next 5 years, you will all get here by public transportation, because that will be in. It will be the fashion or the trend. And just to close, we are also connecting Nuevo León with the United States, especially with Texas, which is the region with the highest power and biggest growth. 8% a year, and we think that it will increase. The northwestern region in Mexico, in that proximity with Texas, looking for the American market, is today the near shoring, and actually we want to change the name for friendly shoring, because we are the same people, the same roots, the same culture, and we want that wall to be literally a line on the map, but that it will link us instead of separating us in the future. So Nuevo León in that specific point is key, because we are like the capital of Mexico at the north. We are close to the US by 2 hours, and for a historic situation that I will not mention, but if you want, you can read Benito Juárez's biography, our president. We had a very, very tiny snippet of a border. So we have 14 kilometers or 9 miles of border close to Laredo, Texas. So, due to geopolitical circumstances, we had never developed that area. So, you can only imagine that lack of vision, of hunger, of having a border with Texas. Every other country in the world would want to have that. And we had not developed that area. So that is a very good and very bad news, actually. We wasted opportunities, we fell behind, and we didn't exploit that border. But today, it is a virgin piece of land. that has permits, decrees, and that we already launched all of the infrastructure so that we could create the best, safest, and most efficient border in Mexico with the US. There's no housing there, there's no crime, no uh, undocumented people, and we're doing the first thing first, security. So we're having the army deployments there, Guardia Nacional, state police, prosecutors. We're securing the whole state of Nuevo León in terms of security because the first thing is how is safety? Is it safe? Yes. First check because no one goes to an insecure state. And then the bridge. We just got the state management concession for up until 2050 to be the best Mexican border nearing Laredo, Texas. And we are doing actually the master plan. We are working on the cargo and possibly passenger airport. We're working with BBP and Border Construction Services in Texas for everything to be jointly reviewed because not having crime and having everything new will do joint revisions of every matter like procedure, green lights, and appliances and so on. And today everyone is betting on Colombia. I don't remember the name of the specific place, the Colombia bridge in the very north of Nuevo León, because crossing via Colombia it takes 15 minutes, and I can bet my salary. Besides the Argentina and Mexico for the World Cup next Saturday, I give my salary as a bet that there is no way that Nuevo Laredo will beat us. They are taking 5 hours to cross because, besides the line and congestion, there is a double review, the Mexican and the American. At Colombia, for one single station, we have Senacica, CVP, SAP border, and if you are a certified company, it takes 5 minutes. So we're growing at about 150% on this customs check. And what are we going to do? We are working on 3 roads. I don't want to brag too much about this, but I promise I will close with one that should be working by next year, which is the Gloria Colombia road. It is a concrete road. It's safe and free. Because in this country, sometimes we charge everything, and the highways and the toll stations. Over here, the roads are free, and so we will have a direct road or highway, Monterrey, Colombia, so that you can reach Texas in 2.5 hours, roughly, and the Sierra highway that will link the country with Saltillo and our national road. And for those of you who are not from here, it's the loop that surrounds the city, and that project will be done in February. So we have this unprecedented infrastructure, and we are proud to say that we will do in 6 years what wasn't done in 40 years. And the nearshoring boom and the sectors boom and Latin America's boom, Monterrey Nuevo León says we are here and we will be a key stakeholder from Latin America towards the future. And I want to close by saying that I'm also happy to announce that everything is done sustainably. Mr. Secretary of Economy, is also the coordinator for what we call the sustainable wealth. There we have economy, work, labor, regional development, and etc. And the premise is we cannot create wealth at the cost of the environment. And actually, I can tell you that all of the projects that we're launching, all of the value chain from the raw materials, the vendors, the builders, the contractor, everyone is in line for zero emissions and contaminating as least as possible to get the environmental permits very well established, because now the premise in the world is it's not all about optimizing or maximizing. Now we have not just a geopolitical component, but an environmental component that we all need to get our hands on, because we are not going to just create wealth if our grandchildren are not going to be able to enjoy that. So that is Nuevo León. That is an ally of the metal sector. And please don't leave without eating cabrito. And I wish you all of the success for this forum 2022. Thank you very much, and I'm at your service.